You are not here by chance, and deep down, you already know that. It wasn't your rational mind that carefully weighed options, compared titles, or made a neat little list that brought you here. Something quieter, something deeper, has been guiding you. It was the inner compass you can't explain, but you've always felt. Recently, that compass has been louder than ever, showing up as late-night thoughts that refuse to let you sleep, sudden sparks of inspiration that appear out of nowhere, and coincidences so perfectly timed that they feel impossible to ignore. These are not random. They are signals. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. Most of the time, life surrounds you with static, noise, distractions, endless chatter. But every once in a while, through all that static, a clear melody comes through. You don't just hear it, you feel it. Something in your body recognizes the song even before your mind labels it. That's exactly what happened the moment you pressed play. Your soul heard a frequency that belongs to your future self and pulled you here. The algorithm on YouTube may look like the reason you're watching this, but the algorithm was only the messenger. The real sender was you, from the version of yourself already living the life you ache for. Pause for a second and think about it. Out of millions of videos, why this one? Why now? Why do these words seem to echo something you've been feeling, but couldn't quite put into language? Because they are not entertainment, they are an encounter. And this encounter is your confirmation that you've been standing at the doorway of change for longer than you realize. Maybe you've felt it lately. The strange sensation of waiting outside your own life, like standing in a hallway with a door you know belongs to you but can't seem to open. You've tried, you've prayed, you've knocked, but nothing has moved. That waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. A seed doesn't sprout the moment it touches the soil. It rests in the dark, unseen, while roots begin to form. The cracking, the pressure, the strain, none of it means failure. It means life is getting ready to break through. Science gives us the same picture. When neurons in your brain fire in new patterns, the old ones resist. The familiar pathways feel easier, stronger, and more natural, even if they no longer serve you. But every time you repeat the new signal, the old begins to weaken. Slowly, the new takes root. Change feels uncomfortable not because you're failing, but because your biology is learning a new song. That is what you've been feeling. The fatigue, the tension, the confusion. They are not signs that you're broken. They are proof that you are in transition. Think of it as walking through fog. You can't see very far ahead, but the ground is still there beneath your feet. In this fog, intuition becomes your ground. Even when doubt shouts louder, something inside you keeps moving you forward. Ironically, the louder your doubts grow, the closer you are to a breakthrough. Resistance always rises just before transformation. The old identity clings because it doesn't want to dissolve. The mind fights to protect what feels safe, even when safe has already become suffocating. Have you noticed the little signs? Repeating numbers on the clock. A word or image that appears everywhere you turn. A stranger speaking exactly the phrase you needed to hear. These are not coincidences. They are echoes of your own future reverberating backward into your present moment. The mind will try to argue with that. It will demand proof, logic, step-by-step instructions. And when it doesn't get them, it will flood you with suspicion. Maybe I'm imagining this. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Maybe nothing is happening at all. But look at the evidence. You are still here, still listening, still feeling something deeper than doubt. That alone is proof. Your intuition has never lied to you. Even in the times you ignored it, you knew afterward that it had been right all along. Think back to how many moments in your life began with the thought, "I knew I should have trusted my gut." That same signal is active right now, growing stronger every day, humming through your body before your mind can even catch up. Some call this destiny. Science calls it coherence. The moment your thoughts, emotions, and body align into one unified state. And when that happens, change is no longer a possibility. It becomes inevitable. This is why your future is not something you chase. It is something you tune into. Right now, in this very breath, you can feel the shift. If you inhale slowly through your nose and exhale gently through your mouth, you can sense it. The static of doubt softens, and a clearer signal begins to emerge. That's not imagination. That's practice. You are proving to yourself that in a single breath, you can change your state. The doorway you thought was locked has never been locked. It opens the moment you realize the key was never outside you. It was always in your awareness. This video is not the key itself. It is the mirror reminding you that you already hold it. And as you stand at this threshold, you will begin to see that everything you've been waiting for is already waiting for you. Welcome to the threshold. From here, everything begins to change. Part 2. The corridor of transition. Two realities colliding. The truth is, the tension you feel right now is not a sign that you are failing. It is the unmistakable signature of transition. You are standing in what I call the quantum corridor, the sacred space between two versions of yourself. One version is the old identity, shaped by habits, fears, and the stories you've carried for years. The other is the emerging self, aligned with clarity, peace, and purpose. And in this corridor, the pressure is real. But pressure is not punishment. It is growth. A seed pressing against its husk is not being punished. It is being born. Your soul is pressing against the walls of who you used to be, asking for space to expand into who you are becoming. And everything that feels heavy, strange, or unsustainable right now, the job that drains you, the relationship that no longer fits, the beliefs that once gave you comfort but now feel like chains, all of these are simply life's way of showing you what cannot follow you through the next doorway. It feels like fatigue. It feels like impatience. It feels like paralysis. But in reality, it is a system upgrade. You are running two operating systems at once. The old program coded in fear, control, and survival, and the new program built on flow, surrender, and trust. That clash between two realities is why your energy sometimes feels short-circuited, why your mind spins in loops, why doubts repeat like broken records. It is not stagnation. It is overlap. Two frequencies colliding inside you. Impatience, then, is not a flaw. It is your soul outrunning your biology. The speed of spirit always feels faster than the speed of the body. Spirit is like light, instantaneous, limitless. The body is slower, cells, chemistry, nervous systems rewiring themselves step by step. The frustration you feel is simply the gap between those two speeds. And yet, even in that gap, you are not failing. You are mid-transition, mid-activation, mid-resonance. Imagine standing with one foot in each canoe, straddling two rivers that flow in different directions. Of course you feel unstable. Of course you feel stretched. But this instability is not permanent. It is only the sound of two songs playing at once. The repetitive music of ego on one side, and the expansive symphony of your future self on the other. The anxiety you feel is not your enemy. It is simply the overlap of two stations on the same dial. And here lies the shift. Your future is not something you must build from scratch. That old idea that you have to grind, to fight, to climb your way into becoming is the outdated program. The deeper truth is that your future already exists. Whole, radiant, broadcasting like a radio signal through dimensions. Your only task is not to compose it, but to tune to it. The static you wrestle with is not failure. It is invitation. An invitation to refine your attention until the signal of your future self becomes clear and steady. Think of attention as creative currency. Wherever it flows, energy follows, and reality takes shape. When you pour your attention into resisting what you don't want, you amplify the noise. When you shift your attention toward resonance with your future self, you amplify clarity. The static doesn't disappear because it no longer exists. It fades into irrelevance because you've stopped feeding it. It becomes background hum while your awareness rests on the melody that matters. Science supports this too. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on where we place our focus. Each time you notice synchronicity and honor it, each time you choose peace over panic, each time you return to gratitude for something small, you are strengthening the neural pathways that align with your new identity. At first, the signal feels faint, just fragments breaking through the noise. But repetition builds strength. Over time, the melody becomes second nature. Think of being at a crowded gathering. Music blares, voices collide, chaos fills the air. And yet, if you are locked in an intimate conversation with someone you love, the rest of the room disappears. That's the power of focused attention. The chaos doesn't vanish. It just loses power because you no longer give it your focus. This is the mastery you are learning now. And mastery does not arrive all at once. It builds in the simple moments. Every time you breathe into your chest, instead of tightening your jaw. Every time you soften your shoulders, instead of replaying the argument in your head. Every time you say yes to peace instead of panic. You are training your body to trust a new frequency. These small shifts are not minor. They are the quiet rituals that rewire your nervous system. They are the golden threads from which your new reality is woven. So when you feel the fatigue, the doubt, the confusion, don't rush to judge it. Recognize it as evidence of growth. You are not falling backward. You are in the precise pressure point where transformation takes place. The old identity is giving its death cry, and the new identity is taking its first breath. The static you hear is not chaos. It is the sound of transition. Take another breath with me now. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale gently through your mouth. As you release, imagine letting go of resistance. Imagine the noise fading into the background, while the signal of your future self grows stronger. This practice may seem small, but in truth, it is how you anchor the frequency of who you are becoming. And soon, you'll notice the proof. Synchronicities appear. Numbers repeat. Opportunities align. Doors open without struggle. These are not accidents. They are confirmations. They are the universe leaning closer and whispering, "Yes, you are tuned in. Stay here." You are not here to fight the static. You are here to fall in love with the melody of your future self until nothing else matters. The old will still hum in the background, but it will no longer control you. And that right there is the beginning of real sovereignty. the ability to choose again and again the frequency that matches who you are meant to be. Part 3. Static and Symphony. Learning to tune the frequency. The shift you are experiencing is not madness. It is metamorphosis. The confusion, the sudden swings between clarity and doubt, are not proof that something is wrong. They are proof that something is being born. One moment you wake with crystalline certainty, every cell filled with a sense of purpose. Hours later, a fog rolls in and nothing makes sense. This oscillation is not a flaw in you. It is the death cry of the old identity and the birth pangs of the new. Think of a butterfly still inside the cocoon. From the outside, the cocoon looks motionless. From the inside, the old body is dissolving, breaking apart into something unrecognizable. That breaking down is not destruction. It is the blueprint of flight being activated. Right now, the grief you feel for the life you've outgrown and the longing you feel for the life not yet visible are happening at the same time. That strange coexistence of grief and longing is the unmistakable signature of transition. This is the sacred hallway between two worlds. The pressure you feel is not punishment. It is growth. Your soul is pressing against the walls of your old self, demanding space to expand. Everything in your life that feels heavy, unsustainable, or strangely out of place is simply what cannot pass through the next doorway with you. Old structures collapse, old beliefs lose their power, old habits begin to feel like costumes that no longer fit. The friction you feel with them is not stagnation. It is your system rejecting what does not belong in your future. You may even notice how your body reacts differently now. A conversation that once felt normal now feels draining. A habit that once gave you comfort now feels like poison. Your biology is catching up with your soul. This dissonance is simply the clash of two operating systems. The old one coded in fear, scarcity, and survival, and the new one designed for flow, trust, and alignment. Running both at once is exhausting, like trying to open new software on outdated hardware. But don't mistake exhaustion for failure. It is only the sound of installation. Patience is hard here, because your soul always runs faster than your biology. Spirit is light speed. The body is matter. It rewires slowly, cell by cell. Impatience is the friction of those two speeds. But remember this: you are not behind. You are not late. You are not failing. You are mid-transition, mid-activation, standing at the most delicate and powerful point of your transformation. The anxiety you feel is not your enemy. It is the sound of standing with one foot in each reality. On one side, the station of ego plays its repetitive song of fear, memory, and control. On the other, the signal of your future self beams clarity, love, and purpose. When the two stations overlap, it sounds like static. That static is not chaos. It is simply the sound of overlapping frequencies. The truth is, your future is already whole and radiant. It is not waiting to be built. It is broadcasting now, like a radio station already on the air. You do not need to compose the music. You only need to tune into it. The static is not an obstacle. It is an invitation to refine your attention. When your focus locks onto the signal, amplification happens. Life expands. Reality coheres. Your next self emerges. This is not theory. This is practice. And practice begins with attention. Attention is not neutral. It is creative currency. Wherever you place it, reality solidifies. When you pour your attention into fear, you feed fear. When you give it to doubt, you amplify doubt. But when you rest your attention on the quiet signal of your future self, everything begins to reorganize around that melody. Imagine being at a noisy party. Music blasts, conversations overlap, chaos fills the room. But across the table, someone you deeply love is speaking to you. In that moment, the noise doesn't disappear. It simply fades into irrelevance. This is the power of attention. The static still hums in the background, but your focus makes it powerless. This is why gratitude, love, and joy are so powerful. They are not vague emotions. They are measurable frequencies that tune your body to the signal of your future self. Each time you choose to feel gratitude for something small, you are telling the universe, "This is my station. This is the frequency I live in." And with each choice, the signal grows stronger. Think about how many times you've experienced synchronicity, numbers repeating, doors opening at the perfect moment, conversations appearing out of nowhere. These are not accidents. They are confirmations. They are the universe whispering, "Yes, you are tuned in. Stay here." And science agrees. Your brain doesn't know the difference between vividly imagined experiences and lived ones. When you feel gratitude for a future that hasn't arrived yet, your cells and neural networks begin to wire as if it has. This is not pretending. It is becoming. Not fake it until you make it, but feel it until you are it. The oscillation between clarity and doubt, the grief and the longing, the fatigue and the sparks of joy, these are all part of your activation. They are the signs that you are already resonating with your future self. The static is temporary. The signal is eternal. So here's the invitation. Stop trying to silence the static. Stop fighting the noise. Mastery is not about eliminating doubt. It is about becoming so absorbed in the melody of your future self that the doubt loses its power. You don't defeat the noise. You outshine it. Take another breath here. Inhale through your nose. Exhale slowly. As you release, feel the old identity loosening its grip. As you inhale, imagine the new frequency filling every cell. This is the practice. This is the art of tuning into your future. And as you keep tuning, the signal grows louder, stronger, clearer, until one day, it is the only song you hear. Part 4. Resonance in the body. Becoming the antenna of your future self, the transformation you seek, is not just an idea. It is not a theory or a concept to think about. It is something your body must experience and anchor. This is where so many people get stuck. They understand the idea of resonance in their minds, but they never let their bodies feel safe enough to hold it. Real change is not only mental, it is somatic. It happens when your body learns that the frequency of your soul is safe to live in every single day. Your body is the antenna that receives and transmits the signal of your reality. If the antenna is bent, rusted, or tense, the signal becomes distorted. The same is true for you. When your shoulders are tight, your breath is shallow, and your jaw is clenched, you cannot clearly receive the subtle, high-frequency transmission of your future self. But when you soften, when you breathe deeply, when you release tension, the signal becomes crystal clear. This is the bioenergetic principle built into the fabric of existence. Survival contracts. Safety expands. When you live in fear, your body contracts. When you live in trust, your body opens. The key to resonance is not to fight for clarity, but to create conditions where clarity can naturally be received. Each deep breath is a declaration. I choose openness. I choose expansion. Each exhale is a release. I let go. I soften. I surrender. Science confirms this as well. Breath is one of the fastest ways to change your nervous system. A slow exhale tells your body, you are safe now. Safety is the soil where resonance grows. Without that soil, the seeds of your future cannot take root. This is why practices like meditation, conscious breathing, and body awareness are so powerful. They are not just relaxation techniques. They are rewiring tools that teach your body to accept a new frequency as normal. Try it now. Place your hand on your chest. Take a slow breath in through your nose, as if you are drawing light into your lungs. Hold it for a moment. Then exhale gently through your mouth, as if you are releasing smoke, letting go of doubt and contraction. As you do this, notice how your body shifts. Your heart rate slows, your muscles loosen, and you feel more present. This is not just a trick. This is resonance entering your body. When gratitude, love, or peace fills your chest, they are not just emotions. They are electromagnetic signatures measurable by science. Gratitude, for example, changes the rhythm of your heart, which then sends signals to your brain that create coherence. In that state, your body becomes like a tuning fork, humming the exact frequency of your future self. The more often you practice, the stronger that signal becomes. Resistance, on the other hand, shows up as tightness in the gut, a lump in the throat, or heaviness in the shoulders. These sensations are not enemies. They are your body's loyalty to survival. They are echoes of old times when openness felt dangerous. Fighting them only makes them stronger. The way forward is tenderness. Meet them the way you would comfort a frightened child. Whisper to them through breath and presence, "It is safe now. You can rest." Each time you do this, you are teaching your body that the war is over and a new way of being has begun. Change is rarely instant. It is gradual, like softening hard soil day by day with water. Each conscious breath into tension is an act of reprogramming. Each moment of presence is a seed planted. Over time, the old pathways of fear weaken, and the new pathways of expansion strengthen. Neural networks literally reshape themselves to match your chosen state, and your body, once addicted to stress, begins to crave peace instead. Picture your body as fertile ground. Your mind may hold the blueprint of your future, but hard, dry ground cannot grow a seed. Chronic tension, stress, and unresolved trauma are the stones and weeds that block growth. Your anchoring work is to soften the soil, through breath, through awareness, through compassion, so the future can root itself in you. Without this cultivation, the future remains just an elegant idea floating above matter. With it, the future becomes embodied reality. You may notice small shifts first. Less inner argument, more subtle yes. Less clutching, more flow. The changes may feel quiet, but they are powerful. You move from convincing to allowing, from striving to receiving. And when the old static rises again, as it always will, you will not panic. You will notice it, thank the old guard for its service, and then retune to the melody of your future self. This is sovereignty. Not the absence of noise, but the ability to choose again and again the signal that serves you. The discomfort you feel at times is not failure. It is voltage. It is the pressure that turns potential into momentum. Each breath you take into your chest, each softening of your body, each choice of presence over panic is another act of alignment. And in this alignment, something profound happens. Your body stops being just a receiver of your personal reality and becomes a transmitter. You begin to broadcast coherence into the collective field. Your calm breath nourishes not only you, but also the people around you. Your peace radiates outward, helping others who are still lost in static find their signal. This is the paradox and the gift. Your personal evolution becomes planetary service. So breathe with me again now. Inhale light, exhale resistance. Feel your body soften, feel your heart expand. And know this, every breath you take in coherence strengthens not only your own future, but also the future of humanity. This is resonance made real. This is the moment your body becomes the antenna of your future self. Part 5. Anchoring the future. Daily practices to stabilize your frequency. Now that you've felt the resonance of your future self, the real question becomes, how do you hold it? How do you make sure this frequency doesn't flash and fade, only to be drowned again by the hum of everyday static? This is the stage of anchoring, where the extraordinary begins to weave itself into the ordinary hours of your life. Your body is not just a receiver of reality. It is the antenna that grounds and broadcasts it. The mind may love the idea of new frequency, but if the body does not feel safe, it will resist. For years, your nervous system has equated the familiar with safety. Even when the familiar hurt, stress, scarcity, struggle, they became known territory. To step into a new frequency, your biology must learn that peace, joy, and abundance are the new synonyms for safety. This is why anchoring is so essential. The future is not anchored by thinking about it more. It is anchored by teaching your body to live as if it were already here. Every sensation of comfort you allow, every moment of presence you choose, every deep breath you take becomes instruction to your cells. This is our new home. Imagine your body as fertile soil. Your mind holds the seed of potential, but if the soil is hard and dry, nothing grows. Chronic tension, cellular memory, and stress are the stones and weeds. Your daily practice is not about forcing change. It is about softening the soil, watering it with breath, clearing it with attention, and nourishing it with elevated emotions. Only then can the seed of your future self take root and grow strong. This doesn't mean hours of ritual or complicated routines. Anchoring can be as simple as 3 steps, repeated consistently. First, breath. Each morning and night, take 3 slow breaths, filling your chest, then exhaling longer than you inhale. This tells your nervous system, I am safe. Safety is the soil. Second, emotion. While breathing, recall a feeling of gratitude, joy, or love, something small and real. A smile from a friend, the warmth of sunlight, the quiet of morning. Let it fill your chest. Third, attention. Place your focus on that feeling and let it spread through your body. Attention is creative currency, and when it is invested in elevated states, those states become stronger. These micro-practices may seem small, but they are powerful. Where attention goes, synapses grow. Repetition becomes trait. Trait becomes baseline. Baseline becomes broadcast. And soon, the frequency that once felt fragile becomes your normal state of being. Of course, resistance will appear. Migrating aches, sudden anxiety, restless thoughts. All of these are your body's loyalty to the old frequency. They are not signs you are failing. They are proof you are upgrading. Think of it like running next-generation software on old hardware. The glitches are not the problem. The system is just recalibrating. Each time you meet these moments with patience instead of panic, you strengthen the new program. And remember, mastery is not born from dramatic gestures, but from consistent choices. choosing to breathe instead of react in anger, choosing to find one small thing to be grateful for instead of spiraling into lack, choosing silence over arguments that drain your light. These may seem minor, but they are the golden threads that weave your new reality. Here's something science reveals. When people practice gratitude daily for just a few minutes, their brain chemistry begins to shift. Stress hormones decrease. Neural pathways linked to positive memory strengthen. The immune system even improves. Gratitude is not just a nice idea, it is biological anchoring. Every time you feel grateful for your future, as though it is already here, you are aligning your cells with that reality. This is why integration is the hinge point. Without integration, awakening moments remain isolated experiences, powerful but fleeting. With integration, those moments become a baseline, and your future self begins to live through you. Anchoring is what stabilizes the new tone until it becomes your dominant song. And you don't do this only for yourself. As you anchor coherence, you naturally transmit it into the field. Each calm breath you take adds to the collective calm. Each peaceful choice you make adds to the shared frequency of humanity. By healing yourself, you help heal the field we all share. This is the paradox and the gift. Your personal evolution is planetary service. So ask yourself, what if every breath today could be a seed? What if every moment of presence could be a brick in the foundation of your future reality? What if every choice to return to gratitude was not just for you, but for the entire web of life around you? That is anchoring. It is not glamorous. It is not dramatic. It is simple, repetitive, embodied, and it works. The shoes that once pinched will be set aside without drama. The rooms that once felt like home will be left behind with ease. People and patterns that cannot resonate will drift naturally to the edges of your life, not because you force them out, but because physics no longer allows them to stay. Take a breath with me now. Place your hand on your chest. Inhale slowly through your nose. Feel the warmth, the rhythm of your heart, the subtle pulse of life inside you. Exhale through your mouth, letting your shoulders soften. Whisper, if you choose, I am safe, I am ready, I am aligned. That is anchoring. That is how you stabilize the frequency of your future self. Not in some distant tomorrow, but here, now, in the rhythm of your breath, in the stillness of your heart. Part 6. Guardianship of frequency. Living as the signal itself up until now. You have been learning how to recognize the signal of your future self, how to tune into it, and how to anchor it in your body. But the journey does not end with recognition. The real art begins with guardianship, the moment when you no longer visit your frequency for a few breaths at a time, but begin to live inside it as your permanent home. Guardianship is not about fighting. It is not about pushing away noise or resisting old patterns with force. Guardianship is about protecting what has been planted, curating what you allow into your field, and choosing again and again the frequency that matches who you truly are. It is the conscious commitment to live as the signal itself. This means becoming intentional about the smallest choices. The foods you eat, the conversations you entertain, the environments you spend time in, all of these are frequencies. Each one either strengthens or weakens the resonance you are cultivating. Most people underestimate these small pivots, but they are the quiet power moves of mastery. Choosing to breathe instead of exploding in anger. Choosing gratitude for one small beauty instead of obsessing over lack. Choosing silence over arguments that drain your energy. These are not minor. They are the architecture of your new life. Think of your energy as your most sacred treasure. A dragon does not guard its gold because it is afraid. It guards out of reverence. In the same way, you are called to guard your energy with care, not from fear of losing it, but from love for what it creates. Every choice is a thread in the fabric of your new reality. Every yes and every no is a brushstroke, painting the masterpiece of your life. And yes, echoes of your old reality will still appear. Old patterns, unresolved dramas, familiar doubts, these are quantum echoes, the last reverberations of a station you've already tuned away from. Do not mistake them as failures. They are tests of mastery. When they arise, you are being asked, will you respond as your old self once did, or will you respond as your future self already does? Each echo is a final exam before graduation. Here's the secret. You don't need to fight the echo. You only need to recognize it, thank it, and choose again. Ask yourself, how would my future self, who already lives in peace, clarity, and wholeness, respond here? That single question shifts you out of survival reaction and into soul perspective. You stop being a character tangled in the drama and become the conscious observer, dissolving discord with presence. This is guardianship. It is the art of choosing your new frequency not once, but over and over, until it becomes second nature. And the more you choose, the easier it becomes. What once took effort turns into instinct. What once felt like discipline transforms into joy. Science tells us that repetition reshapes neural architecture. Each time you choose coherence over chaos, you strengthen the pathways of peace in your brain. Each time you soften into gratitude, you flood your body with chemicals that reinforce trust and safety. Over time, your baseline shifts. You no longer chase the future, you live it. But guardianship is not only personal. As your frequency stabilizes, you begin to transmit it outward. Your presence becomes a lighthouse in the collective field. People around you may not know why they feel calmer, lighter, more hopeful in your presence, but they do. Your coherence helps others find their own. This is how individual mastery becomes collective transformation. Imagine walking into a chaotic room. Everyone is stressed. Voices are raised. Tension fills the air. Now imagine one person in that room radiating calm, steady energy. Without saying a word, that person changes the atmosphere. That is what happens when you live as the signal. You no longer just receive your future self. You become its living broadcast. Of course, this does not mean perfection. Guardianship is not about never slipping, never feeling doubt, never being triggered. It is about noticing when you slip and returning more quickly each time. It is about turning recovery into ritual. Each time you notice yourself falling into old patterns and gently guide yourself back, you reinforce sovereignty. The slips are not setbacks, they are training. And here is where daily practice becomes sacred. Morning breathwork to start your day in alignment. Evening reflection to release the echoes of old patterns. Small rituals of gratitude throughout the day to remind your body that peace is safe. These are the anchors that hold your frequency steady in the waves of daily life. Guardianship also means saying no. No to environments that drag you down. No to relationships that thrive on static. No to habits that shrink your light. Each no creates space for a greater yes, for relationships, opportunities, and experiences that match your true resonance. Think of it like tending a fire. You cannot throw anything into the flames and expect it to keep burning brightly. You must choose carefully what you feed it. Guardianship is feeding your fire with presence, with gratitude, with love, with clarity. It is refusing to let the damp wood of fear or gossip smother your flame. And slowly, something shifts. The echoes of the old fade further into the background. The signal of your future self grows so strong, so steady, that it becomes who you are. You stop asking, "How do I find my future?" Because you realize you are the future, you are the signal, you are the broadcast. So let us close this part with a declaration. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply, whisper to yourself, "I am the signal. I live as the resonance of my future self. My frequency is my gift to the world." Feel those words settle in your body. They are not just affirmations. They are codes, instructions to your nervous system, keys turning in the lock of your destiny. This is guardianship. This is sovereignty. This is the art of living not as someone chasing transformation, but as the living evidence that transformation is real. Part 7. Smooth Narrative, 1,000 Words. Title: Integration. Carrying your future frequency into daily life. You have tuned to the signal. You have anchored it in your body. You have begun to guard it with conscious choices. Now comes the stage that transforms everything: integration. Integration is where practice becomes life. It is where the melody of your future self is no longer something you strain to hear, but the rhythm that carries you through every step of your day. This is the final hinge of transformation. Without integration, the resonance you feel during meditation or breathwork can fade as soon as life becomes noisy again. But with integration, the frequency becomes unshakable. It follows you into every conversation, every decision, every moment of chaos. It becomes not something you do, but who you are. Integration begins with awareness. You start noticing how your energy responds in daily life. A conversation that used to trigger you now feels lighter. A challenge that once filled you with fear now meets you with calm curiosity. These are not small changes. They are signs that your nervous system has accepted your new baseline. You are no longer a visitor to your future self. You are a resident. Of course, life will test this. Old echoes will resurface. People from your past may reappear. Habits you thought you left behind might tempt you again. But these are not punishments. They are opportunities to practice integration. Think of them as final exams, not failures. When an echo arises, you have the chance to ask, "How does my future self respond?" Every time you choose alignment instead of reaction, you strengthen your sovereignty. Practical integration can be as simple as weaving resonance into the ordinary. When you wake in the morning, instead of immediately reaching for your phone, pause for 1 minute. Place your hand on your chest, breathe deeply, and recall the feeling of gratitude as if your future is already here. That single minute sets the tone for your day. Throughout the day, use small cues as reminders. The red light at the intersection becomes your cue to take one deep breath. The moment you open a door becomes your cue to soften your shoulders. Integration is not about grand gestures. It is about making your frequency part of your natural rhythm. Science backs this up. Studies show that habits are anchored most strongly when tied to existing routines. When you attach your new practices to ordinary triggers, like brushing your teeth, making coffee, or sitting at your desk, you create powerful associations in your brain. Over time, these moments become automatic. Your body begins to choose peace without your mind even asking. Integration also means bringing your resonance into relationships. Instead of waiting for others to change before you feel peace, you become the one who sets the tone. Imagine entering a tense room with calm energy. You don't need to convince anyone. Your presence speaks louder than words. This is how integration ripples outward. You carry your frequency like a quiet flame, and it lights the way for others. But remember, integration is not about perfection. It is not about never feeling stress or never being triggered again. It is about shortening the distance between losing your alignment and returning to it. At first, you may wander off for hours before noticing, then minutes, eventually seconds. Integration is the art of returning quickly and gracefully until alignment becomes your default state. Here is a simple practice. At the end of each day, reflect for 2 minutes. Ask yourself, where did I live as my future self today? Where did I forget? Celebrate the moments of alignment, no matter how small. And for the moments you slipped, simply breathe and imagine handing them back to your future self for recalibration. This ritual turns every day into training, every day into proof that you are integrating more deeply. Integration also requires compassion. You are teaching your body, mind, and emotions to live in a way they never have before. Expecting perfection overnight is like expecting a child to run before learning to walk. Be patient. Each step matters. Each return strengthens you. Compassion is the oil that keeps the gears of transformation turning smoothly. And here is the beauty. When you integrate, life itself becomes art. No longer are you desperately trying to control outcomes. You stop asking when and how your future will arrive, because you realize it is already here, woven into your choices, your breath, your presence. Integration transforms waiting into living. Instead of chasing, you embody. Instead of striving, you radiate. Soon, you will notice how people respond differently to you. Opportunities align more naturally. Conversations flow with ease. This is not magic. It is physics. Your frequency organizes your reality. When coherence becomes your baseline, life around you begins to mirror it back. And yet, integration is never about proving anything. You are not here to convince others of your growth. You are not here to showcase your awakening. You are here to live it. Quietly, steadily, consistently. The results will speak for themselves. So let us ground this now with a declaration. Place both hands on your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Whisper, I live as the frequency of my future self. I carry it into every breath, every choice, every moment. This is who I am. Feel those words resonate through your chest. Let them anchor not as hope, but as truth. This is integration. This is the art of carrying your future frequency into the fabric of daily life, until there is no gap between who you dream of becoming and who you are right now. Part 8. Embodiment and Sovereignty. Becoming the living evidence of transformation. This is the moment where everything comes together. You have tuned to the signal, anchored it in your body, guarded it with intention, and begun to integrate it into your daily life. Now comes the most powerful stage of all, embodiment. Embodiment is the point where the future frequency is no longer something you visit, but something you become. It is the shift from knowing to being, from seeking to living. Embodiment means you stop waiting for signs and start becoming the sign. You no longer look for proof that transformation is real. You are the proof. Every breath, every choice, every interaction radiates the coherence of your future self. You stop asking when life will change, because you realize life has already changed. The old identity has dissolved, and in its place stands a sovereign being, clear, steady, and unshakable. Sovereignty is not about control. It is not about forcing outcomes or bending reality to your will. True sovereignty is freedom. It is the ability to stand in the middle of chaos without losing your center. It is the quiet knowing that you are no longer the effect of outside conditions, but the cause of your own unfolding. You choose your frequency, and your frequency shapes your reality. Think of the shift that has taken place. In the beginning, you felt restless, caught in loops of doubt, longing for something more, but unsure how to reach it. You carried the weight of waiting, the tension of standing at the edge of your own destiny. And now, after tuning, anchoring, guarding, and integrating, you are no longer waiting at the door. You are walking through it. You are living the reality your soul has been pointing toward all along. This does not mean you will never face challenges again. Life will always bring contrast. But embodiment changes how you meet those challenges. Instead of reacting with fear, you respond with clarity. Instead of shrinking in doubt, you expand in trust. Even when storms come, you remain steady. Because your roots are deep, you are no longer swayed by every gust of wind. You are the tree itself, grounded, alive, unshakable. And here is the miracle. When you embody your future self, you become a lighthouse for others. Without preaching, without convincing, without trying to save anyone, your presence becomes evidence. People feel safer, calmer, more hopeful around you, even if they cannot explain why. Your resonance gives them permission to believe in their own. In this way, embodiment is never just for you. It ripples outward, touching lives you may never even know. This is the paradox of sovereignty. By embodying your frequency fully, you serve the whole. Your personal evolution becomes planetary service. Each time you choose coherence, you strengthen the collective field. Each breath of gratitude, each act of love, each moment of presence sends ripples through the web of humanity. You are not just changing your life, you are participating in the birth of a new world. So what does embodiment look like in practice? It looks like living with simplicity. No masks, no striving to prove your worth, no chasing after external validation. It looks like walking into each day with quiet confidence, knowing that your frequency is your most powerful contribution. It looks like choosing peace over panic, gratitude over complaint, love over fear, not as forced choices, but as natural expressions of who you are now. It also means releasing the pressure to be perfect. Embodiment is not about never stumbling. It is about stumbling and returning quickly with compassion. It is about remembering that sovereignty does not mean you control everything. It means you are free in everything. Free to choose your perspective. Free to choose your response. Free to live in alignment with your truth, regardless of the noise around you. Let's anchor this truth now. Place your hand on your chest and breathe deeply. Feel the rhythm of your heart, steady and strong. Whisper to yourself, I am the living evidence of transformation. I embody the frequency of my future self. I am sovereign. I am aligned. I am free. Feel those words move through your body. They are not just affirmations. They are reality. You are no longer the seeker. You are the embodiment. You are no longer tuning to the signal. You are the signal. You are no longer waiting for your future. You are living it. And from this moment forward, every breath you take is proof that transformation is not only possible, it is inevitable. This is embodiment. This is sovereignty. This is you finally home in the frequency you were always meant to live. Part 9. Closing the loop. walking fully into your new timeline. You have traveled far in this journey, from the very first signal that pulled you here, through the corridor of transition, into the practice of anchoring, guardianship, and embodiment. You have crossed the threshold. But this is not the end. This is the beginning of your new timeline. Every twist in your story, every heartbreak, every delay, and every triumph has brought you here, to this exact moment. You are not late. You are not early. You are precisely on time. And the frequency you now carry within you is proof that your soul has orchestrated everything with perfect precision. Think back to where you started. Remember the restlessness, the doubts, the feeling of standing outside your own life, as if waiting for a door to open. That version of you was not wrong. That version of you was preparing the ground, holding the vision, carrying the seed. Without the tension of waiting, you would not have been ready to receive this moment. Without the weight of longing, you would not have recognized the resonance of your future self when it appeared. Now the waiting is over. The door is open. The signal is clear. What remains is to walk through it fully, with trust and courage. Walking into your new timeline does not require force. It requires permission, the willingness to let go of who you were, so you can step fully into who you are. And yes, echoes of the old will still appear. Old patterns may try to call you back. Old doubts may whisper in the background. But now you know what they are. Echoes, not truths. Shadows, not substance. Each time they arise, you have the chance to respond not as your old self, but as your future self. Each choice is a declaration. Each breath is a crossing. Walking into your new timeline means living as if your future is already here, because it is. It means letting gratitude flood your chest for opportunities not yet visible, but already alive within your field. It means acting from inspiration instead of desperation, from clarity instead of fear. It means remembering, moment by moment, that you are not chasing your destiny. You are embodying it. Integration becomes easier now, because the resonance is strong. Each breath, each thought, each small act of love reinforces your alignment. Over time, the new timeline feels less like something you step into and more like something that flows through you. You stop waiting for life to change because life already has. You stop looking for signs because you have become the sign. And here is the secret most people miss. Closing the loop is not about achieving perfection. It is about choosing continuity. It is about coming back again and again to the frequency of your future self until it becomes your permanent home. The loop closes not when the old disappears forever, but when you stop feeding it with your attention. Imagine standing at the shoreline of two rivers. One is the old stream, familiar, predictable, filled with patterns that no longer serve you. The other is the new stream, alive, expansive, carrying you toward the life you've always longed for. Closing the loop means choosing every day to keep your canoe in the new stream, even when the current feels unfamiliar. With time, the unfamiliar becomes your natural flow. This is why daily rituals matter. They are the anchors that keep you in the new current. Each morning breath, each small moment of gratitude, each gentle choice to soften instead of tense. All of these are ways you tell your body, this is where we live now. And the more you do it, the less effort it takes. The frequency becomes your new baseline. And when challenges come, as they always will, you will meet them differently. You will not see them as signs of failure, but as invitations to deepen your mastery. You will remember that discomfort is not regression. It is voltage, turning potential into momentum. Each wave you face is a chance to embody your sovereignty more fully, so let us seal this now. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a slow breath in, exhale gently, whisper to yourself. The loop is closed. The timeline is activated. I walk fully into who I am meant to be. Feel the truth of those words in your chest. Let them settle into your bones. From this moment forward, you are not the person who pressed play on this video. You are someone new, someone aligned, anchored, embodied, sovereign. And as you carry this resonance into your daily life, you are not only transforming your own reality, you are contributing to the transformation of the collective. This is what it means to walk fully into your new timeline, to stop waiting, to stop doubting, to stop asking when and how, and instead to live as the signal itself, clear, steady, radiant. Welcome to your new life. The loop is closed. The journey has only just begun. Part 10, The New Beginning, Living as the Signal, Sharing the Light. Here we arrive at the close of this journey, and at the opening of a new one. You did not find this video by chance. You were guided here by the signal of your own future self, calling you into alignment, inviting you to remember what you have always known deep down, that you are more than the noise, more than the doubt, more than the static of your old identity. Through this journey, you have recognized the signal, anchored it in your body, learned to guard it with intention, and begun to integrate it into the fabric of daily life. You have stepped into embodiment and sovereignty, no longer chasing transformation, but becoming the living evidence of it. And now, with the loop closed, you stand firmly in your new timeline. But this is not the end. This is the beginning of a new way of living. From this day forward, every breath you take, every choice you make, every moment of awareness becomes part of the broadcast. You are no longer simply tuning into the signal. You are the signal. You are the melody that others hear, the light that others see, the presence that others feel. Without even trying, your frequency is touching lives around you. This is the true essence of transformation. It is not only for you, it is for us. Each time you choose coherence over chaos, gratitude over complaint, love over fear, you strengthen the field we all share. You contribute to the collective rising, to the quiet but undeniable shift happening across humanity. By embodying your sovereignty, you become part of the birth of a new earth. And so, the invitation now is simple. Live it. Do not wait for the perfect conditions. Do not wait for others to understand. Do not wait for fear to disappear. Live as the signal now, in this moment. Carry your frequency into your conversations, your work, your relationships, your rest. Let it shape the way you move, the way you speak, the way you love. Let your presence be your message. There will still be echoes. There will still be moments of doubt, but you now know what they are. Remnants of a station you no longer tune into. When they appear, you will breathe, you will return, you will choose again. And each time you do, you will strengthen your mastery. You are not broken, you are not lost, you are sovereign, you are whole. So let us seal this journey with one final breath together. Inhale slowly, drawing light into your chest. Exhale gently, releasing the weight of the old. Whisper, if you choose, I am ready, I am aligned, I am the signal. Feel those words vibrate in your body. They are not a wish, they are truth. And as you step forward, know this, you are not alone. Right now, thousands of others are hearing the same call, tuning to the same resonance, walking into the same new timeline. We are connected, woven together in the same field, amplifying each other's light. Your journey strengthens mine. Mine strengthens yours. Together, we rise. If this message has spoken to your heart, if you feel the resonance in your body, then stay with this frequency. Let it continue to guide you. Here, on this channel, we walk this path together. In the next video, we'll go even deeper, exploring how to dissolve triggers at their roots, how to remain sovereign in the midst of drama, and how to accelerate the collapse of the old timeline so that the new one becomes unshakable. So pause for a moment before you leave. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on the bell, not for me, but for you, so that each time your soul is ready for the next activation, the signal will find you again. This is not just content. This is a portal, and you are always welcome here. Take one last breath. Feel the stillness between your heartbeats. Let it remind you that the resonance of your future self is already here, already alive in your now. You are not waiting anymore. You are living. Welcome home.